You look great.
That's all that matters.
Welcome to 5 to 9, the movie game for movie fans, where we have to connect actors to actors through no fewer than 5 and no more than 9 movies. I'm your host, Eric Ginsberg, and we are coming to you live on tape from the boardwalk in beautiful Asbury Park, New Jersey. Do you love movies? Do you love getting lost in the IMDb, the Internet Movie Database? Do you love talking through, who is that guy? Who is in that thing that's in that, what's his face? Then this is your show, and this is the game for you. All right, in just a moment, I'm going to introduce today's contestants. But first, I want to remind you that if you'd like to be a contestant on 5 to 9, you can enter for a chance to be on our show by beating us at our own game. Just download or purchase official 5 to 9 game cards at 5to9game.com. That's the number 5, T-O, the number 9, game.com. Play today's challenge, post a photo of your winning game card on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and tag at 5to9game in your post. So, I'm going to introduce you guys to our first guest today. Our first guest is the lead singer of Geena and Dragster. Everybody, please welcome Geena. Geena, come on over, grab yourself a microphone so we can hear you.
Do I have a microphone?
Yeah, you have a microphone. We want to be able to hear you. So, Geena, you told me earlier that you wish more of your friends had seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind so you could talk about it. What is a part of this movie that you just want to talk about, you want to tell people about, you want to be able to console them or something?
Well, I completely don't understand what happened in the movie, and so I need someone to tell me what happened to explain it to me. How about this? How about that?
Oh, there we go.
Look who's here. Gina's here.
So I'll say it again. So you want people to explain to you what
Someone
happened.
turned the mic off. It wasn't my fault.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. What didn't she get?
Yeah, well, I didn't get any of it. Maybe I was too high. I don't know. I'm really not sure, but it was like, one of those heavy movies that you really had to pay attention to.
It is.
I think the night I was watching it, I just wasn't paying attention to it enough.
It's this amazing love story in reverse. Mm-hmm. It's a phenomenal movie, and the part that always gets me, like right at the end, when like they've listened to their tapes, and he's standing outside her apartment, and she's saying, but we're gonna fight and we're gonna hate each other, and he just says, okay, and like with tears, like every time I'm like, they're in love.
There was so much going on, though. There was like a lot of flashbacks and stuff that
that's the whole movie. You get the finger on the pulse of that movie.
I failed at my attention span for that. My ADD completely kicked in, and I think I lost that. So I'd have to have friends kind of explain to me what happened.
So, Geena, tell us about Transamerica 2020. What is that?
That is my new record coming out. I'm just about finishing it. We've mixed it, and we're recording it over at Shorefire Studios with Joey DeMeo. And that's over in Long Branch, my studio. So I've been working on this thing for years, and but now I realize the time is now to kind of put it out. It has a lot of transgender-related music, obviously. I wrote it through my transition, and I'm looking to get some of those things, out there, especially now during our election season. So I'm going to drop it right around the DNC convention. I figured that would be
very exciting, very topical.
Some of the music is very current. All the music's very current, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with everybody.
Outstanding. Well, we're looking forward to having you play the game. Our next guest from around town, we've played a lot of games together at game nights. Brianna Kurowski.
Hi.
Hi, Brianna. How you doing? Thanks for being on the show.
So well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, Brianna, you told me before the show that the movie you can quote any line from is Reality Bites. Like anytime it's on, you can watch that movie.
For sure. I will watch it and have watched it over and over and over and over and over again.
Pearl Jam was in that movie before their first album came out.
Are you sure it's Pearl Jam? I thought it was the Lemonheads.
The Lemonheads might also be in that movie, but Pearl Jam.
Or when Pearl Jam
I
is
saw
playing.
the Lemonheads. That's how old I am.
Evan Dando, I think, is in it.
They played here at the Pony last summer.
Oh, that's not fair. I saw them when they were the Lemonheads. Not
it's
the
a great
old,
soundtrack, and I'm thankful that Pearl Jam isn't on it. Because I'm not a big fan.
Well, Pearl, so that movie.
It's a very controversial topic.
That
not
movie
liking
was
Pearl Jam.
like before Ben Stiller was famous, but he directed that film.
Yeah.
and he plays such like a prick in that movie.
He's highly unlikable.
right? And he did it to himself.
Being 14, watching that movie, you're like, he's the worst. Then you watch that movie again at 30, and you're like, I don't know. Maybe the whole Ben Stiller thing was the right idea to begin
He's got
with.
a job. He's reliable. You know what? I'm willing to bet that he would know the definition of irony if an elevator door were closing in his face.
I think he'd be able to give the very specific Webster definition, but that's not at all what Ethan Hawke was saying.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, it's
Like-
such an interesting transition seeing Ethan Hawke then and then seeing the movie Boyhood. I mean, the movie Boyhood is like a transition unto itself, but to see like the grown-up he kind of turns into when you realize like that could have
Yeah.
been the same character from Reality Bites who just did kind of like grow up over time.
It's interesting to watch what people will decide to take on as a role when they're young versus like when they become an older adult.
Sure.
And decide.
I mean, he was
that-
in Dead Poet Society when he was like 19,
I
playing
love that
16.
movie.
almost like you can follow actors' arc as a human being through the characters they choose to play.
For sure. You know, when they started making Boyhood, because, you know, things could happen over I guess over a decade when they shot it, that Richard Linklater made Ethan Hawke promise him that if he, it was more than 10 years, if he died during the process of making the film, Ethan Hawke would direct the remainder of the film so it would finish. So that all the work would not go for
You
nothing.
could kind of see that character being a grown-up version of Troy Dyer.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, guys, listen, we've invited you both here to play the
I'm
movie game
intimidated
5 to 9,
by your knowledge.
where you're going to have to connect 2 actors through no fewer than 5 and no more than 9 movies. Here's how
I
we're
think
going to
we've
play.
got this, Geena.
I hope so.
Before our show, we asked you guys to write down names of 5 actors each. We put those names in a hat, and now we're going to randomly draw 5 of them that you're going to have to connect. So I'm going to reach into this hat, a little shaky. I'm going to close my eyes. Some of these are not folded in half.
There's
Gina,
some
not the
static cling in
best
that
at
hat,
following
too, I think.
directions.
Oh, I'm supposed to fold them here?
Yeah, I said it like 5
So you
times.
can tell you can get one of mine.
I said it like 5
Don't
times.
cheat, Eric.
All right, so we're going to go through, and this is a relatively easy one to start with, through Julia Roberts. So on your game cards, under From, let's write Julia Roberts. And for those of you playing at home, we're going to put that in our From spot. And then our 2, we're going to go to Joe Pesci.
Okay.
Joe Pesci. You know, George Carlin used to say that he doesn't pray to God. He prays to Joe Pesci. And he finds that on average, they both have about a 50-50 success rate for him. And then we're also going to draw a 3rd name as a wild card. And if you can go through that wild card, you can earn 3 bonus points if we can get through the wild card in our Odyssey. We're going to go through Leonardo DiCaprio.
The Capricorn.
So Leo, DC, and one more thing. Finally, we're going to spin our house rules wheel. And each time you hit the house rule, you're going to get a bonus point. Gina, I'm going to let you spin the wheel. Give it a little tap.
Just tap it?
Yeah,
Or
just
spin it?
Whatever makes you happy.
Oh, I'd like to
Both
spin.
work. Spin
Like
it.
Yeah.
Wheel of Fortune spin.
Yeah.
So good.
Tick, tick, tick. Oh, you got bankrupt.
Oh, of course I did.
Got what?
That's nothing
You
new.
so you got From the Small Screen. So From the Small Screen goes like this. If we pick a movie that was originally a TV show or an actor who really was well known for TV before they were in movies, that's going to be a bonus point. So for instance, if you go through Leonardo DiCaprio, you're going to get a House Rules bonus point because he was best known before he was in movies for being on Growing Pains. That last season, he was the cousin Oliver of Growing Pains at the end when they had to like shoehorn
You
in
have to
some
remember
cute
that,
younger
though.
kid.
I was already grown up by then.
Yeah. So, you know, any actor or movie that started out on the small screen, you're going to get a bonus point for. So, I'm missing my cards here. All right. So, Geena, Brianna, you're going to be playing together. So this is a collaborative effort. I'm going to be here on the sidelines to offer some help along the way, but not too much. Are you guys ready to play the
Oh,
game?
hell yeah.
Yes.
All right,
we're
so
ready.
first and foremost, as always, I want to apologize in advance to the actors who may have spent a career building a body of work whose faces we know, but whose names we may butcher, and to all the hardworking writers, directors, and producers who picked literally the perfect name for a film that we may likely fumble through. I swear,
no at all.
we really do love your work. Guys, we're going to start with Julia Roberts. Just start talking it out. Give me Julia Roberts movies and see if you can get to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh my God, Pretty Woman.
She was in Pretty Woman.
Sure
Of
was.
course,
Right.
that gets me there. Erin Brockovich.
Erin Brockovich.
How do you
She was
get
in
to
Mystic
Leonardo?
Pizza.
I love Mystic Pizza.
They
Right?
totally
I love
redid
that.
the cover
Yeah.
of that DVD to feature her like she's the star of the movie, and that was also Matt Damon's first credit. I think he has like one line.
Really?
Yeah, and the two of them then obviously went on
He's
to be
the
in
pizza guy?
many ocean. I don't think he was the
Oh.
pizza guy. He was like one of the kids at the house.
I wish.
One of the guys eating the
Right.
pizza. One of the guys entranced by the pizza. So what else was Julia Roberts in? So many movies.
I know, and I'm drawing blanks right now. Got my three favorite out already, really quick.
It's harder when you're on the mic.
The one where she skipped out on the marriage.
Sure.
Yeah. What was,
Sure.
remember?
At the
got
marriage,
on a
she was
horse
supposed
and
to be
whatever.
On a horse.
and then she did whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dot.
You're like literally describing the name of
Wasn't
the
Hugh
movie.
Jackman in that
Hugh
movie?
Jackman was not in that movie. He rode a horse in
Who's
the
she
one with
running
Meg
around?
Ryan, Kate and Leopold.
I see that guy. He almost looks like Hugh Jackman, but it's not.
Not at all like Hugh Jackman.
Come on, he looks a little like him.
Not at all.
Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. Someone
is.
who
I
wanna
looks
look
like
like
Wolverine.
But the one you're thinking about actually was the star of Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts. The two of them-
Richard Gere.
It was Richard Gere again?
Yeah, this was the movie that like kind of like reteamed them
Oh, I don't know.
in Runaway Bride, and it also brought in Hector Elizondo.
I don't know.
Who was also in Pretty Woman. They kind of tried to parlay that into another film with, I think it was Gary Marshall making both of them. And Hector Elizondo had the best line of Runaway Bride.
That's it, Runaway Bride.
She,
Ding, ding.
she gets on the FedEx truck to run away, and someone says, "Where's she going?" And Hector Elizondo says, "Wherever she's going, she'll be there by 9 a.m. tomorrow." And they paid the bills with that product placement.
Wow.
So, all right. So, you guys want to go from Julia Roberts through what movie? Where are we going through? Pick a movie and let's
So we have
make it
to
happen.
pick one of the movies where we know who other characters are in that movie.
And we've already
then-
listed a few.
So Richard Gere. Do you know other Richard Gere movies?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
Then let's go
Let's
for
go
it.
with that.
So do you want to
Was
go
it
with...
Julia Roberts.
Was it in Unfaithful?
He was. I can't watch that movie. I can't watch cheating movies. I just want to yell at them like, just break up. Just break up.
I love
End it
Richard
now.
Gere.
I love Richard Gere.
Not
I
gonna
don't
be
like
worth it.
cheating movies.
I know. I
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay, so we're going
Julia
Roberts was in...
Pretty Woman with Richard Gere.
Uh-huh. And he was in Start Shouting at Richard Gere movies. Again, if we can get to Leonardo DiCaprio, great.
I'm so sorry.
But our end move, of course, is Joe Pesci. So what was Richard Gere in? Shout out movies. We got Unfaithful. What else?
Oh my God, I saw so many of them and I can't think of one.
Once you're on the show, it does get harder.
I know.
I haven't seen Unfaithful.
I'm spazzing.
And Richard Gere.
I really loved the movie where he gave him the old razzle dazzle. He razzle dazzled him.
Oh my God, I know that movie. I know that movie.
It was the last musical to win Best Picture.
Best Picture, last
Mm-hmm.
musical. I told you I suck at this.
Razzle
I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get better. It's my goal
Gonna
right
be
now.
Needing some deep sea fishing on this.
Richard Gere also played an attorney in that movie and an attorney in many other movies. He plays attorneys and
see
doctors
him in my
a
mind
lot.
as an attorney.
Yeah.
Like just the guy with the suit and the
Sure.
briefcase.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Yeah.
see myself in the chair with the remote and some other movie. And
Oh my God, how about Officer and a Gentleman? Bing, ding,
Sure.
ding, ding.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
who
there's
was
one.
in that? Oh, come on. Who was
Come
his
on,
love
I
interest?
got the movie. Someone else has got to get the.
Who was the love interest? She was the it girl of the 80s.
Oh wait. Oh
Kim Basinger.
no, it was not her.
Starts
Which
with a K,
9.5
though.
Weeks was a great movie. I know that's what she was in. Officer and a
Gentleman.
You said it starts with a
With-
K.
Sure does.
And
Of
not
the
Kate Winslet.
80s.
Not Kate Winslet, no. She was not in the 80s.
I know she's an officer and a gentleman. Mm-hmm. And I see her face.
Her last
black
name is
hair.
also a first name, but not her first name.
With a K
Uh-huh.
from the 80s. And it's not Kim Basinger.
Or you
Because
can
that
literally not go
Basinger
Officer
is
and a
not
Gentleman and
first
pick a
name.
different movie with Richard Gere if you'd prefer. We're not bound to
I can't
this.
think of anything else
Okay.
Richard Gere is in. with
Is
his
there someone else that you want
This,
to
this stuff is
work
written in
off
pen,
of?
not in blood.
Oh, well, good.
Officer and a Gentleman.
Uh-huh.
Who's the K
Oh,
girl?
wait, I
What does
keep
she
seeing
look like,
her. Wait, I
Gina?
gotta just calm down. It wasn't Winona Ryder. It
No.
Did she have dark hair?
She
blonde
did.
She
hair?
did. She
Dark
was
hair,
brunette.
yeah.
She was a brunette.
Uh-huh.
Officer and a Gentleman. He
Uh-huh.
was so cute then.
She was in so many movies.
Was it Michelle Pfeiffer?
No, it was not Michelle Pfeiffer.
Love her.
She was more of an it girl in like the early '90s. Michelle Pfeiffer. This one was the it girl of the '80s, I think. Not Catherine, but you're getting closer. It kind of sounds like Catherine, but it's not Catherine.
It's like
Rhymes with Catherine, I guess.
Catherine rhymes with.
Or again, we don't have to do All 500 Gentlemen. Pick a different
No, we
Richard
don't.
Gere movie and keep moving.
Or we could just like change things up completely and
You
start
can.
with Joe Pesci at
You-
the end.
Well, yeah, you could work backwards for
And go
sure.
backwards from Joe Pesci movies.
Joe Pesci would help. I'm
Right?
Italian. I could use my universal Italian knowledge.
Joe Pesci in a bunch of movies.
Sure.
the
and
one
he
go
plays
back-
Italian
Where he
in
was
most
he a
of them.
lawyer? No, he was the criminal in that movie. When the lawyer and the girl and everybody was.
Joe Pesci.
Remember, he was.
Start naming Joe Pesci movies. He's been a criminal. He's been a lawyer. When was he a lawyer?
Well, I mean, Joe Pesci's been
Joe
in
Pesci
Goodfellas.
Was a
Sure.
lawyer in the movie
Goodfellas.
with the two Utes.
Yes, the
Marissa
two Utes.
Tomei.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That
What was the name of that
Uh-huh.
movie with the two Utes?
The two Utes.
You have to know the name.
could
This
not
is
even
the
think of
movie
the
I
name
can
of it.
quote
Oh, My Cousin
everyone.
Vinny.
My
Yes,
Cousin Vinny.
thank
That's
you.
correct.
Joe Pesci is in My Cousin Vinny.
And one of those Utes, of course, was the Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio.
Oh,
Ralph
right.
And he has
Macchio.
not had a career since that movie. He has not done much.
Well, at least he got
Did he
that.
do anything in TV? There's nothing in TV
Joe
with
Pesci?
Karate
Can't
Kid.
recall.
It's
No,
a
I can't
shame.
recall much. I mean, right now there is on YouTube a Cobra Kai TV show that like picks up 20 or 30 years later, where Johnny is like running his own dojo, and Ralph Macchio does show up.
Cool.
But the actor who played Johnny, whose name
Cobra
escapes me
Kai.
right now, is an Academy Award winner for a Best Original Short. So you
Oh,
know,
nice.
even though he lost with an illegal kick to the face, literally the first rule in that Karate Kid fight was no
No
kicks to
kicking
the
in the face.
face. Even though he lost that day, he did win the Academy Award, which Ralph Macchio never did. So we've gotten kind of off
Amazing.
topic.
But Ralph
This
but
is
let's
an
get
amazing
was the
roundabout
grasshopper,
way.
though. He did Grasshopper, right?
well, yeah, the crane. But so where can we get from Richard Gere?
Nowhere.
Oh, somewhere. Come on, Richard Gere has been in so many
Once I go
movies.
home and I can
Richard
Google all of this,
Gere.
it's all going to come back to me. It's not
Sure,
fair.
and if only Jeopardy contestants could use
never-
Wikipedia while they're on the show.
I never did think I would be very good at this.
That's all right.
Officer
Because it
and
is that
gentleman.
guy with the face, in the movie, and he was like
Oh, he
in
was
that
that
other
guy.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got
Really
two.
good at
I
that.
have two of the
I
movies under
know.
my belt. I have Officer and Gentleman.
You've
and
got it.
Unfaithful.
Okay, well, who was in
Officer and
Unfaithful?
Gentleman. I
That
never
girl.
saw.
You
I
know,
feel like our listeners are just like screaming out answers to us, which is great because
That's
that's half the
fine.
fun.
glad. I'm
The
glad.
time
For
ticks,
you to
and we
listen.
eventually get it.
if this was a musical show, I would win.
Well, I mean, he was in a musical.
He was.
Richard
It's
Gere was
was.
in the musical.
Not musical.
He was in a musical. It's on Broadway. I've seen it twice on Broadway. It was that good.
Oh, one Richard Gere
You know,
movie.
all
just
all
get me.
he cared
it
about
gonna-
was love in that movie.
Was he in that other one with the
I have
brother
no idea.
with George Clooney and stuff, where they were all prisoners? That crazy movie.
Richard Gere in Inglourious Bastards.
Richard
Or
Gere
no.
was not
Not
in
Inglourious
Inglourious
Basterds.
Bastards.
Oh,
Good
the
movie,
one
though.
by the same guy, though, right? Who does?
Quentin Tarantino. I can't recall Richard Gere.
No,
in
he was
Quentin
no.
Tarantino
He was
film.
not
Not
in any
that
Quentin
movie.
Tarantino movies. That I know.
The one where
Right.
they're all wearing the prison uniforms through the fields.
That's the one with George Clooney in it. And they were like,
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Yes,
Oh, brother,
yes.
we're
I
out there.
can't
I don't see
recall
Richard
Richard
Gere in
Gere
that
being
big in
movie.
it. I want to see him in it. I guess.
Yeah. Like he goes with the guys who are in that.
I mean, he was the Silver Fox before George Clooney was. He really was like the it guy with that kind of like silver hair.
Oh my God! I wish that
And
silver.
then
I know he was. But
George
I mean,
Clooney kind of took over that mantle.
Yeah. But they weren't in that movie together.
No, they were not. No,
God.
Richard
And
Gere
you're
was
not going
in
to tell
that
us the
one.
name of the girl who was in Officer and Gentleman.
I mean,
Who is it? Starts with a K.
Yeah, starts with a K.
We're
Sure,
the
you
worst
can go
contestants
there.
ever, aren't we? We're-
Well, let me give you a hint. And I can name a bunch of movies she was in, but probably the most famous movie she starred in was she was in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh God, you're killing
No,
me.
no, nothing's in it. She was also in
I know Harrison
Indiana
Ford.
Jones and the Crystal Skull, which was awful.
Yeah, all
they,
Harrison
they
Ford
brought her
movies.
back for that one.
No.
No,
No.
you're not
No,
going to
no,
get
no,
it.
no, no,
I don't
no,
know
no,
her
no,
So
name.
let's just take Karen Allen's entire career.
Oh, forget.
Karen
I would never,
Allen.
never,
Set it up.
ever
Come on,
got
she
that,
was in
ever.
Starman. She was in
gracious.
Scrooged. Scrape them off.
Nope.
Right?
Just the
Darn.
face.
So we're gonna set Karen.
I don't
Allen
even
aside.
know who she is.
So let's
Me
just
too.
nix
Karen
the officer
Allen.
and gentleman. So what else was Richard Gere?
We'll
in?
agree with that. Richard Gere. Besides Pretty Woman, I don't know.
He's in so many movies.
Caligula?
That was actually.
But then who
Wishful
else is in that
thinking.
movie?
Malcolm McDowell, the
Malcolm
Also
owner,
the Planet of the Apes, right? He was the Planet of the Apes guy.
the owner of Penthouse, whose name escapes me at the moment, had to smuggle Caligula out of Italy.
Was that Flynn?
Like no, he owned Hustler.
Flynn. Oh, that was
Larry
Hustler.
Flynn owned Hustler. He had a
See, I know all these questions.
like
talk about
Giacomo. I think his name is Giacomo. His son ran Spin Magazine. But Caligula was like an NC-17. You get to see Malcolm McDowell's stuff.
Uh-huh.
But
Early. It was very
I
early.
can't think of anybody else in that movie. So
junk.
so we're still on Richard Gere.
Richard Gere.
Yeah, I mean,
It
he
had
was-
so many movies, too.
He was a lawyer in a couple of movies. He was a doctor a couple of times.
Oh, was he in The Firm?
He was not in The Firm. He was not. Gene
I'm trying to
Hackman was
think
in
of
The
like
Firm,
lawyer
Tom Cruise
movies
in
from
The
that
Firm.
era. Richard Gere is just not anybody who ever makes me want to watch a movie. Sorry,
he's-
Richard.
I mean,
Really?
You got that chiseled jaw and whatnot, but no.
beautiful, but you didn't enjoy him.
I just
I just
it was
saw
like
him one recently. and I
when
can't
Richard
remember
Gere
the
was
name of it.
cool, he would have been my dad's age.
So
And
it's
it just wasn't
it's the
my
it's a
thing.
generational
And then I never
thing.
went back because
Sure.
George Clooney and
Sure.
Brad Pitt and like
Oh, yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
You got
and
the
like,
whole
I
next
just thought,
generation.
yeah.
They're kind of eating Richard Gere's lunch in terms
And
of
then
roles.
why go Richard Gere when you could go back even further to like Cary Grant or young Marlon Brando or
Because
James
they're-
Dean and know like those really old movies. That's
Sure.
what we should have written down next time, Gina.
Next
know,
time,
I
next
know.
time. Okay, so
Let's have him over here next time.
Richard Gere was in a very famous movie that was named after a city.
Oh my God.
That was
Philadelphia.
Was he in Philadelphia? Chicago.
Chicago.
She was in Chicago.
So who was in
That
Chicago?
was the musical you're talking about. right?
Yeah,
the
one,
whole time.
one Best Picture.
See, now I know the guys that performed on Broadway. I know them personally.
I'll bet.
But
Oh.
I don't know.
But you don't know who was
the guys
in the
that
movie?
play, yeah.
So who else was in the movie Chicago with Richard Gere? Indeed. Talk it through.
I have no idea.
No?
Did you ever see that?
Who played
Gina?
Roxy?
did.
Who played Velma
I did.
Kelly?
I did.
Who
I did
played
see
the
it. And it was great
warden?
too.
It's like that's
And
not
I don't really like
Moulin
musicals, but I
Rouge.
do, no, I
Chicago.
love Moulin Rouge.
Is that the one that
helps.
you've seen twice on Broadway?
What?
Chicago.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I've seen Chicago twice. It was phenomenal.
awesome.
So who's in the movie?
You
We've
would have
got
saw my friend Gary Kilmer. He was in Chicago.
no relation to Val Kilmer.
No.
So who else was in Chicago? We're kind of hitting this kind of dead end
Catherine
right here.
Zeta-Jones.
She sure was. Let's jot that one
Yeah,
down.
thank God. Yes, I got one. Who was married to Michael Douglas, right?
Yeah, were they,
They
in a movie
still are,
together?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
They still
Going
are
strong.
married.
Oh, Queen Latifah was in it too.
She
now
was.
I'm rolling. I get it
Now-
now.
now
She
you're
just
on.
did
Yeah.
something
Okay.
just recently.
We can go Queen
So
Latifah.
Richard
Yeah,
Gere
yeah.
Now
was in Chicago.
we're trying to get to Joe Pesci, and if we can go through Leonardo DiCaprio, we're going to get extra points here.
I still don't know how this works, but I'm trying to work my way through it. I'm going to figure this out somewhere before the end of this.
Yeah.
Queen Latifah.
So rattle off some movies that either
Richard
Catherine
Gere.
Zeta-Jones or
In
Queen Latifah
Chicago.
was in.
Such a long time ago
Catherine
that she was in.
Zeta-Jones. I don't
You're writing
know
stuff
what she's
down?
in.
Yeah, you got a gamepad right here.
So we're getting rid of the officer and the gentleman.
Officer and Gentleman is dead
That's
to
off
us
the
now.
table.
We're going Chicago.
Instead, it's Chicago. Mm-hmm. So in Chicago had
Chicago. And we got
Oh.
Queen Latifah. We
Queen
got Catherine
Latifah,
Zeta-Jones.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
And we can just kind of keep going. Can we get to Joe Pesci maybe through Leonardo DiCaprio?
Do you think Queen Latifah's career started with TV?
Joe DiCaprio.
I think
wasn't
Queen
it
Latifah's
Departed?
career
What-
started with rap music, but then she did
Into
spend
her foray in acting.
She did spend a
Was like-
very long time on Living Single from about 1992 to 1997
She had
or
TV
8.
time, Queen
And I
Latifah.
loved Living Single.
She was already really famous though.
In a
for
90s kind of world,
rapping.
I'm glad I've got my girls. That's what she sang
Yeah.
in the theme song, which she also wrote the theme song, and so she got all the royalties every time an episode of Living Color was on. I'm sorry,
I know
Living
that
Single,
theme
not in
song.
Living Color.
Do you
And
remember
every time an
that
episode
show?
of Living
What?
Single
Living
was on.
Single.
A little bit, yeah.
The best.
That was
Yes,
good.
yes,
it was
I do.
it was Golden Girls.
Who
It was the Golden Girls.
I mean,
It was like
Jim Carrey wasn't in
227
Living
later.
Color, was he?
He was on
They're
Living Color. But
kids.
we're going movies, and that's Living Single. So we can go
We're
Queen
digressing.
Latifah, we can go Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Catherine
What are some movies
Zeta-Jones.
either one of them were in? Because there's so
Wasn't
many
she in one of
them.
the Indiana Jones movies?
Catherine Zeta-Jones, no, she was not in an Indiana Jones movie. Kate Blanchett was in the most recent one, and they are making a 5th Indiana Jones. They've officially announced. So, we're all hoping it's going to be as good as the 3rd one and the 1st one. Because the odd
That
ones
might
have been
be
good.
my question here,
and
the ones I want them to
evens
stop
have
making
been
movies.
kind of pits.
Remember you said that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
They could stop-
Catherine Zeta-Jones in High Fidelity?
She sure was. She was
Oh.
Charlie.
That could work.
Oh, yeah. She was in High
Then
Fidelity
There are a
with
lot of
whom?
people in that movie.
That kid.
That kid, yes. Who was in High
I
Fidelity.
do know his name.
Yes.
Not Matthew.
Nope.
I can see him right now. Cusack.
Yeah,
John Cusack.
There we
Yeah,
go,
Cusack.
John Cusack. They were also both in America's Sweethearts together.
Was she in Titanic?
Which she was not, no. But so Catherine Zeta-Jones and John Cusack were in High Fidelity together, which was great. It was this great kind of
She
like
wasn't in Titanic?
this great kind of like transition from where John Cusack kind of began for us with the boombox over his head playing music
I know.
to him yelling at Catherine Zeta-Jones from the street in High Fidelity. But the two of them were also in America's Sweethearts, which was directed and written by, definitely written by, directed I'm not so sure about, but Billy Crystal. But so
didn't see that
we're
movie.
on John Cusack. So what was John Cusack in? Either with Leonardo DiCaprio or with somebody
Oh,
who
he
was
had some
in
good
something.
movies.
With
Well, you
Lee-
said
with
High Fidelity. That
Joe
was one of my
Pesci,
favorites
yeah,
with
yeah.
him in it.
Well, we were, and that's how we got to Cusack. So where are we going from John Cusack now? What was John Cusack in? Kind of talk it out.
Cusack.
Shout out
was
John
in
Cusack movies.
Gross Point Blank
Sure was.
Okay.
with Minnie Driver.
Sure was.
Was that the surfing movie?
No, he is a killer.
He is. The
And he goes
contract
to his
killer.
high school reunion.
Gross Point Blank. Why am I? Oh, I'm thinking about Point Break.
He was in Say
Break or
Anything.
something like
Yeah, you're
that.
thinking
But
of Point Break.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Say Anything.
He
and
wasn't
the
Say
dad in
Anything.
Say Anything is in a lot of things.
Oh yeah, who's the dad and say anything?
John
John-
Cusack.
I honest to God don't remember who the dad was and say anything.
The dad.
So from John
Yeah,
Cusack we can go
that's
say
hard that way.
anything.
We
We
could
can
go Say
Gross
Anything.
Point Blank. What else was John Cusack in?
He was in the
remember Say
Beach
Anything.
Boys
So many
movie.
movies.
Did you see the Beach Boys
Yeah,
movie where
Love and
he's
Mercy.
Love
With
and
Elizabeth
Mercy.
Banks.
I did not see that movie.
and
So good.
and
I
didn't even
Paul
know they made a
Dano.
Beach
Oh,
Boy
it
movie.
was really well. It wasn't a Beach Boys movie. It was specifically a Brian Wilson movie.
Oh,
and listen,
cool.
I have seen the Beach Boys in concert twice, and I've seen Brian Wilson in concert twice. And both times I saw the Beach Boys, I left. I got up and walked.
Did you
out.
see the Beach Boys play with Brian Wilson?
No, I missed that.
That
one.
was it.
But
That
when
was
I
really
saw
good.
Brian Wilson solo with his band, the Wondermans, both shows were like just like some of the best shows I've ever been to in my life.
Oh wow, I would love that.
I could see that. I
Phenomenal.
really wouldn't want to see the Beach Boys without Brian Wilson.
It's-
But I did
it's
get to
not.
see them when they were at PNC.
That's like seeing
Yeah.
Journey
Back
without Steve Perry.
2012 or
Sure.
so.
Which
That was
they're
really
doing.
good.
They're doing
I
that.
know.
That's what they're on that journey right
I
now.
know.
But,
Ding, bum, bum.
all right, so where are we going from John Cusack?
Oh, I don't know.
Got to keep it moving, guys. Got to keep it
John
moving.
Cusack, he was in
Keeping it
I
moving.
don't know that.
Gross Point Blank with Minnie Driver.
Sure. And what was Minnie Driver in?
Minnie Driver was in the movie with Ben Affleck, where he's the janitor at Harvard, and
Oh, that's the Dead Poets Society? Or
no,
Oh, no.
close.
Wait, I'm close
It's
though.
not
Close,
Dead Poets
close,
Society.
close.
It's not with honors.
Yeah, you're kind of smashing with honors.
like,
with Dead
how about
Poets
them
Society.
No, I
apples?
want to get
Yes,
you know,
there are.
how
And
about
then
the,
he's really good at math.
How about them apples?
How about them
Yeah,
apples?
yeah,
That
right,
movie.
Right,
Okay,
that was
what's
with
it
Matt
called?
Damon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm going to get closer to that because I
Matt
love that. It
Damon.
was
but I cannot think of what it was.
this
It was named after his character.
Named after the character.
Goodwill Hunting.
There you
Good.
go.
Cha-ching. I'm getting all the movies
So okay,
here.
John Cusack.
You guys
let's
are a good
go
team.
to Goodwill Hunting.
Well,
Goodwill-
John Cusack to
Well, that
Grosse
might
Point
help because
Blank
that
to
Goodwill
Minnie
Hunting had
Driver.
Robin Williams
Yeah.
in it.
Sure.
I do remember. I'm not writing any of this down. I'm,
you
kinda,
should.
I'm kind of going by memory.
Game pads are really cool.
Now,
Really?
Robin Williams is going to be a bonus point if we can use him because he was
Mork and
best known
Mindy.
for Mork and
Mork
Mindy
and
before
Mindy.
he was
I
a
got
movie
points
star.
for that, right?
Absolutely, that's going to be a bonus point if we can ever get to Joe Pesci. Because if we don't do it in no fewer than 9 movies, we're not going to win the game. And I
Joe
really
Pesci
want to see you guys
Robin
win.
Williams. Is that where we're at right now?
Sure, we're at Robin Williams trying to get either to Leonardo
he's
DiCaprio
Mrs.
or at this point, we really
Doubtfire.
want to kind of bring it home to Joe Pesci at this point.
Yeah.
We do either or.
Well, I mean, Joe Pesci's the win. Leonardo DiCaprio's bonus points. But if you take too many moves to get there, it's going to nullify the bonus points.
Oh, my God.
Right?
The pressure's really on right now.
I know.
Yeah.
So maybe now we should go backwards from Joe Pesci.
Well,
like a
yeah.
Joe Pesci movie.
I'm having a hard time
was in
identifying. After
what?
Cousin Vinny and Goodfellas,
The
I
Super.
know he's in a couple of mob
he in The
movies.
Super?
Like that was.
I loved The Super.
Wait a second. He was just in.
It worked until you fixed. It was fixed until you broke it.
It was fixed until you broke it.
I loved The
That's
Super.
right. I love that movie. I
We
remember
were
that one.
allowed
was
to
in
watch
Gone
that kind of as
Fishing.
kids, and it was really like
Recently, he was in The
He was on the
Irishman.
edge.
He was in. He
Gone
was in the.
Fishing.
Sure,
I mean,
sure was.
as most
But
recently.
how are we going to
Seems
get
like
from
Joe
there
Pesci.
Because The Irishman
Good
kind
Will
of
Hunting.
connects
to
us.
Robin Williams?
We have to go back to Robin Williams.
Well, I'll tell you who was in a
Leonardo
movie with Robin
DiCaprio.
Williams, who was also in what Irishman actor was in a great movie with Robin Williams? I mean, there's only a handful of big actors in The Irishman. Start rattling them off.
Well, you said Irish. He was an Irish guy.
That's what
though.
you said. No, you
It's
said you
Joe
said
He
Joe
was
Pesci.
in
was
The
in The
Irishman.
Irishman.
But you said he
And-
was an Irish actor.
No,
he's in The Irishman.
Well, then there's
who's in The
there's De
Irishman?
Niro and there's
Robert De
Pacino.
Niro.
Okay, so
And
Pacino
Pacino.
is in a movie with Robin Williams. It was part of Robin Williams' kind of like 3 movies in a row where he played villains. He had been Patch Adams, and just Roger Ebert just destroyed Patch Adams because it was
my
just he was so
God.
done with Robin Williams doing all these nicey nice characters, and it really struck Robin Williams hard. And he decided he's going to play villains. And he was in Death to Smoochie, which he played a villain. He was in 1 Hour Photo. He played a really awful villain, and he was in this third villainous movie with Pacino.
You're killing
Do
me.
you guys recall this movie where Robin Williams and Pacino, where Pacino's the good guy, Robin Williams is, I mean, just a
Night of
really
a something or
blood-curdling a villain. It's set in Alaska.
Do you get
I
it?
do not.
It's
know.
set in Alaska.
Set in Alaska.
Yeah,
And that's not
yeah.
the one I was thinking about.
Yeah. What happens for like a month of the year in Alaska in the summer? What happens?
Daylight.
Yeah, daylight. And
Oh my God, he's
if it's
helping.
daylight, yeah, there we go. We're doing it.
I mean, we're so
There
stupid.
we go. So we got Robin
can't
Williams
get
was
this.
in Insomnia with Pacino,
Of course he was.
who was in The Irishman
Thank goodness.
with
Eric
Joe
is here.
Pesci. And you guys have done it in 7 movies.
wow.
So let's recap, guys.
Fantastic.
We had to
So
go
good.
from Julia Roberts to Joe Pesci, our wild card, Leonardo DiCaprio. We did not get there, but Julia Roberts was in Pretty Woman with Richard Gere, who was in Chicago with Catherine Zeta-Jones, who was in High Fidelity with John Cusack, who was in Grosse Point Blank with Minnie Driver,
Wow.
who was in Good Will Hunting with Robin Williams, who was in Insomnia with Al Pacino, who was in The Irishman with Joe Pesci. Let's start totaling up some points here.
This
So,
almost took as long as the movie itself.
The movie The Irishman.
there
Part
you go.
2.
There you go.
The director's cut.
If we go to the very bottom of the card where the points are totaled, we're going to see 10 minus the number of movies. We had 7 movies, so 10 minus 7, we're getting 3 points on our movies. We are not going to get the wild card today. We are going to get a bonus point for the house rule for Robin Williams. Was anybody else on this list known for TV first? I don't think they were. Did we get any SNL cast members in there? You know, Joan Cusack was a cast member, but John Cusack was
didn't
not.
make it, yeah.
And I can't say, and Robin Williams, I mean, phenomenally talented comedian, but he was obviously never a cast member on SNL. So
No.
we don't get that one. We did not go through Kevin Bacon. We're going to wind up with 4 points, still respectable, and you have both won the game. I'm so proud of you, Geena.
Thank you.
Brianna.
We
Thank
won?
you guys so much
Do we
for
get to
taking the
spin
time
again?
to be. If you want to spin it for no purpose, go ahead, spin the wheel.
That's okay.
No, you're done spinning for now. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to be on 5
Thanks for
to 9.
having me, Eric.
For playing,
Lots of fun.
For playing our game. You are each going to win this 5 to 9 game card, which has
I love it.
the game. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again. Geena and Brianna, thank you guys so much for taking the time to be on 5 to 9 today, for playing
Thank
our
you.
game. You've each won the official 5 to 9 gamepad, which has 50 game cards. I'm
Oh,
going to cue
wonderful.
up the music here. Listeners, make sure to check out Geena's new album when it comes out. Geena, tell us the name of that album again.
Transamerica 2020.
So
Geena and
make sure
Dragster.
check it out wherever music
gonna be
is.
so good.
If you
Right
5
on.
to 9ers listening out there in podcast ether, we're chomping at the bit, yelling out of better solution to today's challenge. As we play through it, you can enter for a chance to come on our show by beating us at our own game. Just download or purchase official 529 game cards at 529game.com. That's the number 5, T-O, the number 9, game.com. Play today's challenge, post your game card on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and tag at 529game in your post. High scores, as well as creativity and entertainment value, will be considered. This has been 5 to 9. I'm your host, Eric Ginsberg. Our show is recorded at a shared universe podcast studio on the boardwalk in beautiful Asbury Park, New Jersey. Our sound engineer today is Chris Madd. Our theme music is by me. Subscribe to the 5 to 9 podcast through the Apple Podcast app, Google Play Store, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube if you want to look at us too, or literally anywhere else. I'm queuing that music back up again. I got to get faster at saying all this stuff, or just start playing the music later. Guys, you can check out this podcast anywhere you get podcasts. Please play with us online through social media or Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can play today's challenge or make up your own and play with or against the global 5 to 9 community. Just don't forget to tag at 5 to 9 game when you do. Thanks for listening, and let's play together again soon.